this is the first camp I can, like, enjoy myself, be back. My headspace that I'm in now is way better than what I was before, and that's the only thing that mattered to me.
A lot of things out there about the size and all of this stuff, but people forget that Tank's a top 10 pound for pound fighter, and he's got power in both hands. And skill-wise and technique-wise, he's been doing this for so long.
In this fight, I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. He's a real fighter, and got skills, high IQ fighter. Regardless of the weight, I've personally seen Tank, spar.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis, a fight no one could have predicted but everyone is talking about. Two stars from completely different worlds, stepping into the same ring, driven by the same hunger to prove who truly belongs among boxing's elite. The hype surrounding this showdown isn't manufactured. It's real, electric, and spreading fast across every corner of the boxing world. For some, it's pure entertainment. For others, it's an unpredictable collision of power, ego, and ambition.
Night and day, right? You have to understand, I went from doing YouTube and Disney Channel to 5 years, once to twice a day, 6 to 7 days a week, training, recovery, taking it more serious than ever. I'm just a different specimen. My body is filled out. I'm going into my athletic prime and going into that, and my body filling out, I just feel amazing and feel super strong.
Jake Paul has been unusually vocal about his preparation for the Davis fight. He insists this is the toughest training camp of his career, filled with high-level sparring partners and intense sessions meant to push him to his limit. According to Jake, the camp is stacked with real talent, even mentioning that he's dropped several sparring partners already. What shocked many fans was his revelation that Shakur Stevenson, one of the sport's brightest technical boxers, is joining his camp to help him study Tank's movement and style. But for perhaps the first time in his career, Jake also admitted fear, genuine fear. He said, "Tank is dangerous." People often dismiss Davis because of his height or smaller frame, but Jake disagrees with that narrative completely. He acknowledged Tank's knockout power as something terrifying, saying that when Davis lands, it feels like getting hit by a truck. That confession changed the tone of the entire build-up. Jake's respect for Davis's ability shows that this fight isn't just a publicity stunt, it's a real test, one that even he admits could be the most dangerous night of his life.
Going into a fight that I've actually ever been, because I know how good these people are that I'm sparring, and being able to see how good they are and knowing how good Tank is, it's actually going to be my toughest test to date.
Yeah, I think, Jake, you could make the argument, right? Pound for pound wise, this guy's the most ferocious dude in the whole sport, couldn't you?
For sure. I think he has probably one of the highest knockout percentages in
90-something percent, right?
Exactly. And just his speed, his elusiveness, his ring IQ, his conditioning. He's gone 12 rounds so many different times, something that I've never even done. So he's going to be sharp all the way through. I mean, the list goes on. And so just actually being vulnerable for a second, it's like, this is crazy. This is scary. It's kind of keeping me up at night.
Jake, how do you prepare for, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you? How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So Just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed. And not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are coming off faster.
Many fans have no idea about the kind of battles Gervonta Davis has endured long before fame found him. From the earliest days of his career, Tank wasn't just sparring against fighters in his division, he was regularly going toe-to-toe with heavyweight boxers. And not just ordinary ones, but skilled, technical heavyweights who knew how to control distance and use their size to dominate. Analyst Showbiz The Adult recently revealed that not only did Davis survive those brutal sessions, he dominated them. He punished men who outweighed him by 50 pounds or more. That kind of experience, Showbiz argues, makes Jake Paul's size advantage meaningless. If Tank could handle experienced heavyweights who knew how to fight, what could Jake, still relatively new to boxing, possibly show him that he hasn't already seen? Jake has improved dramatically since entering the sport, but Tank's foundation was built on surviving fire from a young age. Against polished, world-level fighters. Against men much bigger and stronger. That's why some believe this fight might actually be more dangerous for Jake Paul than for Gervonta Davis.
Or bigger people, like from middleweight to heavyweight. And the thing is, don't be surprised, okay? This is a photo. This is a photo of one of the bigger guys that he was sparring. But in the past, you know, like maybe a few years ago, he was fighting a guy in Mayweather's camp. He was a bigger guy. I think he was like a middleweight or something like that. He was whooping his ass. One time he was like on live whooping a bigger guy's ass. I mean, he's just beating bigger guys like middleweights and stuff. He's done that in sparring forever. Remember this story? I've brought it up a million times and I've showed this clip a million times, but on Ellie Set Back. This story of this guy saying how Gervonta Tank Davis knocked out this heavyweight.
Tell me the story. What happened?
What's the one boy name?
No, don't say a name. I don't want to embarrass anyone.
Oh, no, you're right.
But tell people what happened.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this. I'm like, I thought he died. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought he died.
Hey, I've seen him knock out some heavyweights. He might knock all the ass out now.
You knocked out a heavyweight?
Yeah.
How was that?
Because I hit harder than Wilder.
Now, granted, the heavyweights that Gervonta Tank Davis is whooping and sparring is not like, you know, all-time great heavyweights, all right? And it shouldn't be. But he's sparring the heavyweight, the level of heavyweight that, you know, more experienced than Jake Paul, right? But Jake Paul has beaten those heavyweights himself, all right? I'm thinking that is the caliber of heavyweight that Gervonta Tank Davis is sparring, but he's whooping their asses. And that's a good thing. Honestly, with Jake Paul sparring Raymond Ford, to me, it looked like Raymond Ford got the best of him. It looked like Jake Paul was a little exhausted, and it looked like Raymond Ford wasn't. It looked like Jake Paul was a little disappointed in his performance, and Raymond Ford was trying to give him a pick-me-up. Like, you know, just kind of letting him out. No, like, you know, we do this and do that. It just looked like Raymond Ford was in a confident, secure place, more dominant place, the more alpha out the two in the ring, and that's Raymond Ford. That ain't Gervonta Davis. You know, I love Raymond Ford. I have him on my fighters list. But still, I don't think anyone thinks he's as skillful or as powerful as Gervonta Tank Davis.
Recently, Tank Davis made a key decision about his future. He's done with the 135-pound division. The weight cuts have become too draining. Too unhealthy. From now on, Tank plans to fight at 140 pounds, a move he believes will unlock the full potential of his power and stamina. He's not just moving up for this one fight with Jake Paul, this is a new chapter in his career. Tank says that staying at super lightweight allows him to fight stronger, faster, and fresher. He feels his body performing at its best, sharper reactions, better conditioning, and harder punches. Critics say Jake will still be too big for him, but Tank disagrees. He believes this weight class is where he's truly built to dominate. When he fought at 135, he was already delivering highlight reel knockouts. Now, with a fully charged frame, he wants to show fans what devastating really looks like. Jake Paul might be the first man to experience this new, more dangerous version of Gervonta Davis.
Or had been throwing fits a few weeks ago when Gervonta had announced that he would be fighting Jake Paul in, I believe it's coming up in just about a month, or a little bit less than a month, and that he would not be, at least immediately, he would not be rematching Lamont Roach. So people went all up in arms. Shout out to my guy, Big Dog Willie, who even right now is claiming that Gervonta Davis is going to go try to fight in WWE or something like that when he gets done with Jake Paul. But the truth of the matter is that Gervonta Davis is coming back to boxing. He's always said that he's coming back to boxing. He said he's going to run off, get this bag real quick, and he'll be right back. Well, as you see, the 135-pound WBA, the WBA, where he holds his 135-pound championship, has not stripped him. They said that they were going to look into it if he had not rematched Lamont Roach, but nothing ever really came of that. So as of right now, he still has his 135-pound title, but I'm telling you, the way that things are panning out, I don't think he's going to go back down to the 135-pound division. I think he's going to go to the 140-pound division where really and truly all the smoke is there. Add to it the fact that when he fights Jake Paul, he's going to be fighting Jake Paul at a higher weight than he would necessarily be fighting guys at 135 pounds. You're probably not going to see him drain down for the fight. I don't think he's going to bulk up at all, but usually when guys play with their weight and they go up and allow themselves to fight at a higher weight or fight people at a higher weight class.
Carmamel Moughton, a close friend and insider from Davis's camp, gave his honest take. In his view, this fight is Tank's to win, and to win easily. Moughton believes Jake's size won't matter one bit because Tank has spent years sparring and outsmarting far bigger opponents. The difference, he says, lies in intelligence and experience. Tank is a master boxer, Carmamel explained. Jake is still learning the art. Having personally watched Tank train day after day, he knows the intensity and focus that goes into every camp. To him, Jake is stepping into a storm he can't possibly prepare for. Talent beats size, he said confidently. Skill beats strength. And Tank's skill level is on another planet.
It's Jake Paul.
I feel like it's gonna be a good fight, entertaining. It's an exhibition, so we're gonna see how serious they really take it. But I don't know, they both getting a lot of money, so congrats to them.
What if you had it who has the edge in this fight?
I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. He's a real fighter, and got skills, high IQ fighter. Regardless of the weight, I've personally seen Tank, spar heavyweights, and even me, I spar heavyweights, So the weight's not really too much, for a lot of great fighters, so I feel like Tank gonna get it for sure.
Can he kind of be an advantage because he's small and fast? Someone said that. I'm I didn't think about that actually.
Yeah, possibly. He gonna see a lot of Jake Paul's punches coming. He can be able to evade them and then set him up for a big counter.
Wait, but do you think this is gonna be different than the other Jake Paul fights we've seen, against Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez? I know a lot of people weren't the happiest with that, but I feel like Tank's gonna give him a different fight. Do you think so?
I think so. We'll see how he adapts to, because a lot of people think it's hard, for a small guy to be fighting a bigger guy, but it's also hard for a big guy to be fighting a smaller guy. It's a small target, they're very fast, so we'll have to see how he adapts to it.
Wait, and is Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson really happening?
Yeah, that's happening.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a date already, or what's going on?
I don't think there's a date yet, but it's definitely an official fight and it's happening.
So what do you got to say about that? What's going on?
It's gonna be a great show. Floyd's gonna do his thing. Hopefully I'm on the undercard so I can put on a great show as well.
No, really? You guys already talked about that?
Not yet, no, but we'll have to see. Yeah, for sure.
And are you gonna fight again this year? What's next with you, Carmel?
I don't know. At the moment, we haven't heard nothing. We're just waiting, staying patient, staying ready. But I should be back at least one more time before the end of the year. When this fight was first announced, Shakur Stevenson was among its loudest critics. He questioned why a proven world champion like Gervonta Davis would waste time fighting a YouTuber turned boxer. To Shakur, the matchup felt like an insult to professional boxing, a move that cheapened the sport's seriousness. But as weeks passed, a twist no one saw coming emerged. Reports claim that Jake Paul offered Shakur a lucrative deal to join his camp and help him prepare for Davis. And now, the same man who mocked the fight is part of the training process. Fans were stunned, and analysts called it a perfect example of how quickly opinions change when money enters the conversation. What was once labeled a circus has now become an opportunity not just for Jake, but for Shakur, too. The situation perfectly exposes the blurred line between integrity and business in modern boxing.
Money to help them in camp. It's easy money to come spar somebody or whatever. Go get your money, right? But what's funny to me is for someone who had nothing positive to say about this fight, and someone who was critical of Tank Davis for taking this fight, and tried to shit on Tank Davis for taking this fight, he sure is doing whatever he can to be a part of it. He sure is doing whatever he can to be a part of the fight. And then to take that a step deeper and a step further, for someone who doesn't want to talk about Tank Davis anymore, he sure is making moves to ensure that he is continued to be mentioned with Gervonta Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson is not stupid. The new firm that he hired to do his PR work and get him to do these interviews and try to enhance his brand, they not stupid. Jay Prince not stupid. Josh Dubin not stupid. The people around Shakur Stevenson have been building social media brands, building boxers, and building talent in different industries at the same time. I mean, for a long time. They know how this shit works. They not dumb. They know the conversation that is going to surround Shakur helping Jake Paul. Tank Davis' biggest rival going to camp to help Jake Paul. If Jake Paul has any kind of success in the fight, Jake Paul was successful because Shakur Stevenson is on a different level and he helped prepare Jake Paul for the fight with Tank. That's why Jake Paul did so good. They know this, bro. And to me, that's the problem that I always have with these guys like Shakur Stevenson. You can throw Lamont Roach in there. You can throw Devin Haney in there, bro. You can throw Keyshawn Davis in there if you want to. My issue is they won't admit what it is. And I guess it's an ego thing, it's a pride thing, because I get it, bro.
Rapper and boxing fan Offset added his own spin to the debate, focusing on the physical differences between the two fighters. He believes Jake Paul's natural size and strength could play a major role in the outcome. Offset pointed out that if Jake manages to connect cleanly, one powerful shot could alter the entire fight. But he also made sure to acknowledge Gervonta Davis's elite skill set. He described Tank as a defensive genius, a fighter who can slip punches, counter within a heartbeat, and make his opponents miss repeatedly. Offset summed it up as a battle between brute force and flawless technique. Jake's got the power, he said, but can he land it? That's the real question.
Tank Davis?
I don't understand how that's happening though.
I mean, that's kind of what Jake Paul does, right?
He's like a 7'8". 6'7". I'm not saying 7'8", like the nigga's
so what?
It's far.
So you think Jake wins?
Yes.
This is kind of like the Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight. And Mayweather, he got the better of Logan for sure. I think Logan's even bigger.
Than Jake? Fuck no.
Logan's bigger than Jake, yeah. Like bigger, yeah. But Jake's now a more experienced boxer than probably Logan was at that time.
I don't know. That weight shit, man, that shit's a real thing.
What's the odds on that shit? I wonder. Not out yet?
Who do you think will win out of Canelo?
I don't really follow boxing like
Canelo,
that.
Man. I like
Canelo.
I like my boy, but Canelo's just a.
Canelo's a beast.
He not old. He still got it. He hit hard as a motherfucker. And then like the fighters he fought and lost to was some dogs though. Like most people won't get in the ring with him. So it's like I feel like I don't know. Has he got the? I don't know. I feel like he gonna win though. What's that? What's the odds on that?
Oh, what's on the Davis is minus 205. Jake Paul plus 155.
Wow, that's tight odds. Tank Davis is minus 205, Jake Paul's 155 opening odds. Dude, that's crazy. I don't know.
Tank 5'2" though, but it's like he's so short.
Fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying the height difference is
like,
crazy.
is Jake even gonna be able to hit him? Like he's probably so fast. Tank's gonna be able to hit Jake.
He's short though.
Tank's gonna hit him a lot, right?
How tall is Tank? 5'7"? He's like 6'3". It's a different. That's
no, I know.
6'3" and big. Now technique, he got him in technique because he's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I gotta see that fight. That shit sound crazy.
You gamble on football? You sports bet?
You have to pay him a lot of money to that fight.
Oh, they're making so much money.
Several boxing analysts have pointed out a deeper layer behind the criticism Tank often receives. According to them, most of the hate directed toward him has little to do with his choices, it's rooted in jealousy. From early in his career, Davis has faced resentment from fighters who envy his fame, talent, and drawing power. Now that he's set to earn a career-defining payday against Jake Paul, those negative voices have only grown louder. Analysts believe many of Tank's critics would gladly take the same fight if offered the opportunity. Instead of celebrating his success, they attack his motives. As one commentator put it, the hate Tank gets isn't about the sport, it's about envy disguised as purity.
Fire. I get the chance to pick a great business mind brain and help give him some game in the process. I'm down. Oh, we know you're down. So for one, you look like you hating on Tank, bro. Like you specifically. Two, this is the same guy that said he's not watching the fight, but now you're somewhat taking part in the fight because you're trying to gather or help prepare Jake Paul for the fight. And then this is what Shakur Stevenson does, in my opinion. Shakur will make questionable choices, do certain things, right? And then afterwards, he'll be like, yeah, now that I got y'all attention, I got everybody mad at me. Bro, the stuff you're doing is weird. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, to me, it's almost close to like Karen behavior, in the sense that Karens, you see some of these Karens and they do all this extra stuff and then act like the victim. And I told you that's one of the main problems with Gen Z, right? Where Gen Z, they will do just weird things, make weird choices, make weird decisions, and then they'll act like, man, I'm Tupac, me against the world, everybody's against me. Everybody's not against you. You're just doing weird things. You're making weird decisions, it's weird behavior, so on and so forth. So let's ultimately recap. We got to do the Boxing Ego recap to see what's really going on here.
As excitement builds, talk of massive payouts has taken over headlines. Reports suggesting $20 to $40 million each sound believable to industry insiders, but rumors of both fighters making $200 million apiece have sparked serious debate. Experts find those numbers exaggerated and unrealistic, even by modern boxing standards. While no one doubts the fight will generate extraordinary revenue, many believe the biggest figures being thrown around are promotional fluff designed to add more spectacle. Still, the mystery of just how much both fighters will earn only fuels the fascination surrounding this historic event.
$50 to $200 mil.
That'd be the most any athlete's ever made in one event, in one night. Where are they getting that money?
I mean, it's Netflix.
Okay, Mike Tyson didn't make that. Jake Paul didn't make that.
20 million, I would believe, not 200 million.
20 million seems realistic.
That's a lot.
Even because Netflix is bigger, but there's no pay-per-view model, so. And Gervonta is a big pay-per-view draw, especially for being a lighter weight class.
Yeah.
So 20 to even 40 I can get.
Oof, that's a lot.
40 I can understand.
When push comes to shove, though, like 20.
Like Canelo's getting that 40.
Yeah.
But Gervonta Davis, he was, especially on Showtime, he's a big pay-per-view star.
Yeah.
He's a knockout artist. 200 mil is just completely false.
Man, I mean,
swipe. What it says? Swipe to read more. What else does it say?
No, there's nothing there. That's probably from the original.
God, Jake is so much bigger.
Yeah.
And that wraps up today's coverage. The anticipation, the controversy, and the spectacle surrounding Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis continue to build by the day. Whatever happens inside that ring, one thing's for sure, this fight has already changed the conversation around boxing. Stay tuned for more updates, because this story is far from over.